The definition of direct access to physiotherapy is the patient's ability to self-refer to a physiotherapist without previous consultation from any other professional. This means that physiotherapists are autonomous to welcome patients without any other referral from a doctor, medical doctor, or other practitioner. So, the opportunity to go to physiotherapist before visiting a general practitioner or other practitioner has been demonstrated to be successful. In fact, many healthcare systems that have adopted direct access are spending less money, and also patients are spending less money, are guaranteeing the patient safety because there is no risk by visiting directly the physiotherapist, and also they are improving patient satisfaction, also for the money that they are not spending, but also for the timing, because patients going directly to the physiotherapist gain time to have physiotherapy care. Besides these opportunities, we have also in many countries a general crisis in number of general practitioners. So a solution is to use less the general practitioner, that are few, and visit more physiotherapists before going to the general practitioner. So this is also a good solution to this crisis worldwide in numbers of general practitioners. In this image that you see here from Italian study group, and Filippo Maselli, a colleague of mine, is the first author. It is explained how patients can reach a direct path with direct access to care and satisfaction instead of going to the general practitioner. If you see in details the path they have to follow to the general practitioner, it is really time-consuming and money-consuming, because after the general practitioner, they usually go to a second care referral, like for example, orthopedic or physiatrist. Then they get prescribed some imaging investigation, and then another investigation to analyze the imaging, and finally they could reach the physiotherapist for care. So the path is really long. We estimate that the time it's going to the physiotherapist is half, and also there is a 53% reduction in secondary care setting investigation and treatments, 94% reduction in diagnostic imaging, and this is really important in money spending, and 50% reduction in healthcare system and patients' cost. So to confirm what we said until now, if we go to the World Physiotherapy webpage on the direct access and self-referral specific page, we will see in the definition some problems. The first problem is that the situation varies from country to country, and the physician referral is still widely used in many countries. However, physiotherapist community is pushing hard to gain direct access everywhere. Also, to confirm the cost-effectiveness aspects, physician referral costs more to people and system. Also, physician referral create delays in receiving care, as we've seen is the 50% time spending. And finally, there is also this aspect that general practitioner and physician fail to recognize us as an autonomous professional. So the World Physiotherapy is pushing and advocating for this, because physiotherapy has to be an autonomous profession. The situation doesn't change if we go on the other side of the world, of the oceans. We are talking about the US. If we go to the APTA webpage dedicated to direct access advocacy, we see that the definition of direct access is even stronger than the World Physiotherapy and European definition of direct access, because they talk directly by telling that it is the removal of the physician referral mandate. And they also say that despite the country laws, the state's laws that impose direct access, a lot of states continue to impose arbitrary restriction on direct access. This one is an infographic that you can see on the World Physiotherapy website, and it is analyzing the direct access situation in countries in the world. So if we check, 31% have no restriction direct access, mostly in US, also South America, some country in Europe and Australia. In private only, we have also a lot of country, including Italy. And public only is really, really hard to gain as a result for direct access. And still the 25% has no direct access in their countries. So the situation is not that bad, but we have to keep pushing for gaining direct access without restrictions all over the world. If you compare the infographics for the US map over the years, you can see how they are working hard to reach direct access in every state. And the situation is improving year by year by confronting the maps and the countries that have gaining unrestricted direct access. There are still a lot with direct access with some prescription in the country, and just a few. In 2019, there were three states with limited direct access. So basically, just three countries that are Alabama, Missouri, and Mississippi they have limited patient access. In 27 states, they have patients access with provision, and in 20 states they have unrestricted patient access. That means full direct access to physiotherapy. So, by concluding this introduction to direct access, what is important to do today? It is important to push through system, to push through other professionals and practitioners, also to push with patients to let them understand how important it is to have the opportunity to be the first contact in physiotherapy care. So the keywords is advocacy. We have a working group in the European region that is called the EU Matter and Advocacy Working Group. I am part of it, and also the colleague that will talk after me, Tim Nemet, it is the leader of this group. And we, among other tasks we have to do, we still push for direct access results all over the Europe. Also, if you go to the World Physiotherapy webpage on advocacy, you will find direct access and self-referral as one of the most important goals of our advocacy actions. Also, we have a policy statement on the World Physiotherapy webpage that have been approved in 2011 and then reapproved in 2015 and 19, and we will discuss and maybe modify also the next year in 2023 in Dubai. I suggest you, if you are interested in the direct access theme, I suggest you to read the policy statement and also to see how it will change in 1 year from now. I will leave you with just one example. For example, what happened in Louisiana in the US. This is an infographic to stress how important it is direct access. There are a lot of information about the decreasing cost for patients and system, the improved quality of life and better functional outcomes, the safety also, and how important is the self-management condition of patient, for example, in musculoskeletal condition, and how many money America can spare with direct access. And they also, in the next slide, talking about advocacy, we need some benchmarking and a good strategy. For example, I think that this template of letter that patients from Louisiana could send to politicians to say them that they want direct access because they have better care, less time, less cost, and whatever we said already, it's a good strategy for advocacy to reach the goal. So we have to find the right strategy to improve our condition and the condition of our patients by doing advocacy and by also doing benchmarking, confronting the strategy of each country. We have to stay connected to the same network, and that's why World Physiotherapy in European region and also our association and group in countries are meant to. And talking about European region, I will leave you with my beloved friends and colleague Tim Nemeth, who will talk about the result of the professional autonomy survey that we made every 2 years. And have good luck, and I wish you the best. Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you, dear Czech colleagues. The Advocacy and EU Matters Working Group of the World Physiotherapy Europe region conducts a biannual research survey to assess professional autonomy of the physiotherapists in the national healthcare systems. In the next slides, I will provide you with the recent update on the European situation. The purpose of the survey is to establish a benchmark framework to highlight the details of the professional autonomy of European physiotherapists. The data shown in these slides is the data derived from the second survey conducted in 2021. The first survey in 2019 was a pilot study. For the 2021 survey, we used more detailed questions. In this slide, you can see the overview of the procedure that started in 2021 and ended with a presentation at the European Region's General Meeting in Prague last May. The next round of the survey will start in 2023. Some interesting data regarding the medical prescription to start with. As you can see from this figure, only in a handful of countries in Europe direct access is legally authorized, ensuring full professional autonomy for the physiotherapist as healthcare professionals. In most countries, the medical prescription is either necessary at all times or required under circumstances. It would take too long to go into full detail, but the report with all the information is available to all member organizations. As demonstrated, the access to physiotherapy is not uniform. It depends on the sector the physiotherapist is working in. For instance, in many countries with a private healthcare system, parallel to the public healthcare system, direct access to physiotherapy is authorized in the private sector, while it is not in the public healthcare sector of the same country. Sometimes, the medical diagnosis is required to access physiotherapy services. In some countries, an advanced qualification is required to enable direct access. In the first survey, the details were not questioned, providing us with a much less nuanced picture of the situation. When a medical prescription is needed, there is also much variation on the legal requirements of the content of that prescription. In some countries, it is merely a piece of paper, signed by a physician to grant access to physiotherapy services, where in other countries, the physician needs to indicate the diagnosis and the number of treatment sessions. It can even be more strict than this, when the prescription needs to include also the frequency of the therapy, the area of the body to treat, and even the treatment itself can be a legal required element. Building on the previous slide, here is some information on the countries and the format of the prescription. When it is necessary, in a good 25%, only one specification is necessary, which usually means the physician's diagnosis. In about 11% of the countries, no specifications are required, which makes you wonder why a prescription is mandatory in the first place. The medical prescription has multiple functions. It can be mandatory for access to physiotherapy service. It can be mandatory to have the physiotherapy services reimbursed, or it can be mandatory for both stipulated reasons. Obviously, as each study, it has some limitations. These are listed here, and for me, the most important one is the language barrier. Conducting a survey on specific legal topics requires a good understanding of the English terms used, and we encountered a couple instances where the answers were off track just because the interpretation of the terms were different. Providing a glossary of terms helped to some extent. For this project, these 6 members of the Advocacy and EU Matters Working Group engaged and worked very hard. As the chair of this working group, I would like to thank Michele Canoni, Adrito Seixas, Kadri Englas, Petra Dubajova, and Gabriela Sendro. Thank you for the opportunity to present this to you.